Have you ever struggled to focus when you're doing a Sudoku puzzle? Do you ever even think about focusing when you're actually doing a jigsaw puzzle, for example? Have you ever struggled to focus when you're watching a movie? You don't do meditation before you go and watch a movie. You don't drink coffee to stay alert, so you don't take supplements when you go and watch a movie. But you effortlessly stay focused for hours on end. What's the magic potion that transforms all these activities, like doing a jigsaw puzzle, doing Sudoku, or watching a movie, so captivating that you're effortlessly focused for hours? Can we use that magic potion to learning? Let's find out. Hi all, welcome to GAMT DL. My name is Dr. Karthik, and if you're new to this channel, I'm an assistant professor in anesthesiology working in Dublin, Ireland. In this channel, we look at the transformative power of GAMT, or Glyph Assisted Memory Technique, in learning. Learning is not just about memory, it's a multifaceted journey. In this channel, we dwell into every aspect of this journey, starting from creating a GAMT to applying the GAMT DL framework, all the way to creating effective GAMT recall strategies that's going to allow you to experience the true joy of learning. Okay, so let's jump in. When people talk about focus, they talk about different things like having a good sleep, avoiding distractions, coffee in moderation, Pomodoro technique, meditation, noise cancelling headphones, etc. In the YouTube, you can find loads of those videos looking at those things. I'm not going to talk about any of those, right? I'm going to address the elephant in the room. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you want to open a coffee shop, okay? So, you have a fantastic location for the coffee shop. You have a nice shop. You create a great ambience. You have fabulous lighting, fabulous furniture, and you have great staff, and you have great parking, right? Everything is good, but the coffee is horrible. Like, nobody's going to come, right? So in the same way, you can create everything to improve your focus. You can loads of things to kind of say, this thing is going to improve my focus, right? But you don't have this one thing sorted. Your focus is not going to improve no matter what. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all the other things are not important. They do add a lot of value, but you need to get the main ingredient right? You need to get the coffee right first before you go on building the other stuff around it. In this video, I'm going to talk about this magic potion which transforms any learning into an exciting adventure. This magic potion has 3 ingredients, okay? So the first ingredient is motivation. Second ingredient is attitude. Third ingredient is having a learning framework. When these 3 ingredients are combined and applied to any learning, it just transforms your learning experience. Focus will become effortless. It'll be like watching a movie, or it'll be like doing a Sudoku puzzle or a jigsaw puzzle. And that's how learning should feel like. That's when you get the true joy of learning. The motivation and attitude are pretty straightforward, easy to understand. The GAMT DL framework is a bit more elaborate, and there's a whole video that I've put up in YouTube on this particular topic. You can have a look at that when you get a chance. What we're going to do today is to apply this magic potion onto a topic, and we're going to see how it transforms that into a very fascinating experience. Okay, the ingredient number 1 is motivation. For example, you're doing a Sudoku puzzle and you're bored, you want to do a Sudoku puzzle, okay, you do it, and you do a certain amount of intensity, certain amount of focus. On the other hand, if I were to say that if you finish the Sudoku puzzle in less than 10 minutes, you're going to get 1,000,000. The motivation is totally different. Suddenly, your focus, you're going to be hyper alert, you're going to be hyper focused. Now, remember, you're not doing anything different here. Just your motivation for doing the thing has changed. That's the only thing that has changed, right? Everything's happening inside your brain. You have the reward center activated, you have the sense of excitement, you have a sense of purpose. Now it's much more wired and attentive. You have a bit of adrenaline rush going through. So, your brain is primed to learning. Your brain is primed to focus on the target in front of you, right? So you're effortlessly kind of enhancing the focus, right? Obviously, you can't really kind of deceive yourself saying, I'm going to win the lottery every time I'm going to learn. But you can do different things. Today, we're going to look at a topic which is BNP, or brain natriuretic levels in heart failure. So, how do you motivate yourselves to learn such a topic which is kind of pretty dry? How do you motivate yourselves? There are 2 things you can do here. First of all, you shouldn't learn the topic just to learn the topic. You should learn to master the topic. This concept of mastery is very important. You need to have that in your mind when you approach any learning. Anytime you're going to learn anything, you got to say to yourself that you want to be a master in that particular topic. Whether you become a master or not is a second question, but that should be the motivation. That should be the intention that you're going to learning with, right? Second thing is, when you go and learn something, you should always assume that you're going to teach it to somebody else. I'm sure you must all have encountered teachers who are exceptional and whom you felt, oh, this guy is excellent. The way he teaches the concept makes me really understand it very well and makes me grasp the subject so easily. You all would have some sort of a favorite teacher in mind, right? So assume that you're going to be one of them. Assume that anybody who's going to listen to you will be captivated by the way you explain this topic. So these are the 2 important motivating points that I want you to remember before you go and learn anything. What this does is just changes the motivation for your learning, and suddenly your mindset changes. There's this definite shift in your mindset when you have this thoughts in your mind before you're going to read. Okay, that is the first ingredient of the secret potion, is the motivation. Second important ingredient is the attitude. So when you're going to learn this topic, you shouldn't go in thinking, oh, I need to remember this number, or I need to remember this, I need to remember this for exams. That's not what you're going for, right? You need to approach this topic with an intent to explore, with an intent to have fun, and you're going to really analyze the topic in multiple different ways. And this sense of exploration is very, very important. You're going as an explorer, like Dora the Explorer. You're actually going into different places and you're going to find different things. You need to go in with an explorer mindset when you're learning a topic. So these are the initial two ingredients: the motivation, which is to become the master of the topic and to teach others so that they're inspired. The second is attitude, that you need to go into with an explorer's attitude. These are the two ingredients that you need to start with. Okay, so once you have this in your mind, then you need to apply the GAMT DL framework. The portion that comes out of combining these three concepts is what's going to turn any learning into an exciting adventure. Let's take an example and let's walk through it, and you'll know what I mean by that. Okay, let's go. What we're going to learn today is this: pro BNP levels more than 300 nanogram per liter. This is a part of preoperative evaluation of cardiac patients around cardiac surgery if you're an anesthesiologist. When the level goes more than 300 nanogram per liter, that there is a higher chance the patient might have cardiac failure. This is the topic that you're going to learn. So I've kept the topic very short, very brief, just so that I can highlight the concept very quickly. Normal way of reading this is, you write notes, you take notes, you highlight that, and put some more fancy stars around it. That's one way of doing it, and you're going to forget it in 2 weeks. Okay. The other way of learning this is what I described. Okay. So my motivation here is I need to be a master of pro BNP levels, right? I need to get everything around this concept in my head. And secondly, I'm going to explore about pro BNP. Right? I'm going with an explorer mindset. That's what I'm going. You should be able to teach this to somebody else tomorrow. Okay. That's the mindset. That's the motivation and attitude that I have. Okay. Now I have the right motivation and attitude and get into this learning, and I'm going to use the GAMT DL framework that we saw here. I'm going to apply this onto the pro BNP levels. Okay, let's go. The first zone is as we saw here, is the overview and the figure zone, which is zone 1. Right. So now the overview and figure is more for topic. Now because we only have just a pro BNP level 300 nanogram per liter, it won't be topic, so we don't need an overview. So we're just going to go to the figures. You're going to go to the Google and you're going to type pro BNP. Okay, so what I want to focus here is the images. So go to the images section, and basically what you do is you look at all the images that's available on the internet. Just unfiltered, just regular, just type in the topic that you're learning, go to the Google. So again, remember, we're exploring this, I'm going to be master of this topic. So see this image here, so this is pro BNP and cleavage with protease, an enzyme called chordin. Cleavage is this, and two components, anti-pro BNP and BNP. Okay, that's a good image to have. You all know that an image is worth more than 1,000 words, right? So what I'm trying to capture is a lot of images which can be also easily retained in my brain, and if I find something very, very relevant and very useful for what you're going to study, I'm going to take a screenshot and put it in a OneNote or whatever anchor that you're using to learn the topic. Okay, so we're in zone 1, we completed the zone 1 already. So you got few images, we saw through few images. Now I haven't saved them in one place, but you get the point, right? Okay. Next, number 2, zone 2 is GAMT. GAMT is basically our anchor. If you watched my previous video, you'll understand. Zone 2 is place where you create an anchor for that particular topic. So it can be GAMT, which is the memory technique that I kind of use. It can be any other memory technique like memory palace or anything that you want to use, or it can be just notes that you take, or it can be a book that you used to read all the time. So the important thing here is that every time you need to read about pro BNP, this is the place you go to. So that's zone 2. Next, you're coming to zone 3, which is the why question zone. The zone 3 is not just why question, it's the zone where you ask why, what, when, how question. Okay, let's get into that. Remember ChatGPT. So how was pro BNP discovered? Again, remember, we are applying this GAMT DL framework. We are in zone 3, so we basically following the pro framework and just applying those questions to this topic. I'm not trying to memorize anything. I'm actually exploring the concept. I'm using this framework to explore the pro BNP concept. That's all I'm doing. I'm not stressed about, I need to remember this, etc. No, there's no stress here. I'm just exploring, I'm just excited, I'm into an adventure. That's my attitude, right? Widely used in early 2000, large scale studies like BNP multinational study, breathing not properly study, established clinical utility. So summarize, breathing not properly study. What is that? This 2002 study is what really jump-started this pro BNP. Why does BNP increase in heart failure. This is remember, this is the zone 3, why, what, when, how, where questions. Okay, so you're just going through the framework. Why? Volume overload, pressure overload, myocardial wall stress. So anytime the myocardial wall is stretched, it reduces pro-BNP. We looked at how BNP was discovered, looked at why does BNP increase, because the myocardial is stretched, and where is it produced exactly. You can just ask any of those questions here. That framework, why is it produced? So it's actually stored in granules within the cardiac myocytes, and then when they're released, include the enzymes called corin. We saw that in the figure already, and there's 32 amino acids and 76. So inactive component is large number of amino acids. So he asked when, asked how, what, when, why questions. Anything else we're missing here? Where is it produced? How is it produced? When? What causes the production of pro-BNP? Okay, good. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I think we covered the zone 3 pretty much thoroughly. Yeah. Okay. Next, we go to the next zone, which is the compare and the contrast zone. So we go back to this one. So we cover the zone 3. So we go to the zone 4, which is the compare and the contrast zone. So what I'm going to do here. So what compare and contrast questions can I ask with pro-BNP? We already saw there's another biomarker in the figures, right? Okay, so what are the other biomarkers for heart failure? So you just want to know what are the biomarkers. I know pro-BNP now is a failure of heart, is a marker for heart failure. What are other failures? Compare BNP versus pro-BNP versus anti-pro-BNP in cardiac failure as markers. Okay, you know what I'm going to ask next. Compare BNP with troponins. Okay, so that's the next question. Okay, or it's often less expensive to. Okay, so again, cost is less and more stable and longer half-life. It's perfect for cardiac marker, right? So now I want to know anti-pro-BNP and troponin. Compare. Let's say compare, right? Let's see what happens. Okay, so troponin is injury, whereas pro-BNP is stretched. So when myocarditis is stretched a lot, either by pressure or volume overload, it releases anti-pro-BNP. Troponin is actually injury. Okay, so you know what? The 300 nanogram per liter. I want to see if it puts some context in it. So just I'm going to ask is there any other biomarkers similar cutoff value? Okay, very good. There you go. So what I'm trying to establish here is a bit of context. Again, if you see here, right? So we are kind of into the topic. There is an inbuilt gamification here. So there are 8 zones, and I want you to spend some time in each of the zones. Right now in your mind, okay, you're progressing, right? You've finished zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Now you're actually in zone 4. So you only have 4 more zones. So you actually, okay, so I'm doing something good. And you're getting feedback every time you think of something. Every time you say, okay, you ask a question and you get an answer. So that's the feedback. So there's a lot of inbuilt mechanisms or a lot of proven learning mechanisms that's in operation as we're doing here. And again, when your attitude and your motivation is right, it gives you a bit of adrenaline rush, and it gives you a little bit of stress that you need to start the learning process. And once you're into learning, you get into this flow state effortlessly. Okay, so there are a few other things similar to the same, 300 nanogram per liter value, right? So 300 is kind of a nice number. So there are a few other things that are similar to 300. Okay, so now we got this concept. You compared and contrasted this with other biomarkers. You compared BNP, pro-BNP, and pre-BNP, pro-BNP, and anti-pro-BNP. You compare BNP with troponins, so you have a very, very good clear understanding now. And you also compared other biomarkers with similar values. Okay, now we're going into zone 5, which is the association zone, right? So what do you want to make the association? You need to try to create some association within the topic, between the topics, between subjects, family, friends, personal life, and bigger picture. Okay, so let's say, okay, how does this relate to me? So how does BNP? How can I relate myself? Okay, let's say, does weight training increase BNP or in anti-pro-BNP levels? I'm trying to get some weight training going, very small, but I want to see, okay, so if I measure my BNP levels just after the weight training, what's going to happen? So, okay, say it's transient increase in pro-BNP. What happens when you do long term? So I'm kind of, okay, if I'm doing it for like a year, then my pro-BNP levels be high. Your pro-BNP levels can actually decrease by doing chronic weight training. Okay, so say my mother has diabetes, so I'm going to say, okay, so what happens to pro BNP levels in diabetics? Just I'm not pro NT. I'm just doing random questions, whatever comes to my mind, right? So I mean, that's how learning should be, just fun, exploring the topic. I'm just going to ask all the stupid questions here. Doesn't matter, no filter. Just ask whatever comes to your mind. As long as you're in the zone, and the association, what you're trying to do basically here is create a lot of associations. Right? That's exactly what you're trying to create. So that's important. NT-proBNP levels is much more important in diabetics because even without symptoms of heart failure is a strong predictor. Okay, so I'm learning a lot of things. Age and renal failure impact NT-proBNP levels. If so, how? Okay, age. Cause of natural reason due to cardiac and renal aging. Diagnostic. Okay, how exactly does aging cause rise in NT-proBNP in the absence of myocardial stress? Okay, so what it says in summary, so it goes through all this stuff. So decrease renal function, so stiffer heart and vessels, subtle ventricular tension, reduce renal clearance with age, chronic neurohormone activation, stimulating arterial production, and then there's something else come out and outrage hormone regulation, sensitivity to nature peptides, etc. So okay, so that makes sense. So all right, so I kind of created some associations here, and I'm thinking, is there any other association that I can actually make? So within the topic, can't think of anything else within the topic. So I already discussed about troponins and this, okay, and this, okay. Right. What else? Oh, okay. The Batman. The Batman. Okay. The Batman. How high pro BNP levels? Gee, who's that? It's Batman have high pro BNP levels. Let's ask about Batman. It's unlikely Batman will consider high knowledge person. He's physically helping us in a half of a sudden. Oh, okay, let's break it down. Jesus, that's very interesting. Intense physical activity, comebacks, etc. Temper increase. We all saw that already. Okay, under stress, chronic stress, underlying condition, impure superior nature. Fabulous. Likely to be normal. There you go. So Batman is risk. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be Superman. How about Superman? I don't know. Let's see. Cardiac efficiency is nature. Oh, entirely. Jeez, very good. Okay. Look at the comparison table. Undetectable. Jesus. Superman. Superman is Superman for a reason, hey? Okay. Great. Okay. So there you go. So you're kind of really having fun here. Superman, Batman, pro BNP levels. Huh? Who would have thought? You wouldn't have thought about this, right? When you started learning this topic. Now you know something. Okay, great. So what you've done is done the association zone. So we're going to go to the next zone, which is past exam question zone. So let's say, it depends on what exams you prepare. So let's say, give me 5 exam questions on NT-proBNP for a final med student. So what we try to do is try to answer. So this is called testing phenomenon. This is called testing effect. So the more you try to actively recall the concepts and frame it in your mind and put it in your own words, you're processing all this image in your brain that enhances retention. This is the single most important thing that actually can do to improve memory retention. Okay, diagnostic thresholds, less than 75 years, is chronic kidney disease. It's fantastic, right? And then you go to the zone 7, which is applying the knowledge. Applying knowledge, there are 2 things: problem-based learning and teaching others. 2 ways of applying. You won't teach others tomorrow. Anyway, you're going to catch somebody else and teach this tomorrow. Don't forget that. Now I'm going to look at, give me, let's say 3 problem-based learning questions on NT-proBNP. Don't give me answers and mark me as I reply and correct me as we go along. Okay, so again, what I'm trying to do is kind of gamify this. I'm going to make it ask the questions, I'm going to answer it, and it's going to correct me, give me feedback, and if it's right, it's fine. If it's wrong, I've done something. Okay, each case and market response. Okay, case 1, pro NT pro BNP levels are high for the age, so it's cardiac failure. Okay, so doing a symptom list of missed considerations. Oh, 7 out of 10. Okay, extra condition before NT-proBNP. Okay, so all right. Okay, I didn't think anything's true. Okay, so on and so forth. Right. So look at problem-based questions. You ask questions and answers. Then you go to the zone 8, which is the research and innovation zone. So give me 3 research ideas on this topic. Okay, so this is now we are in zone 8, which is the research and the innovation zone. Give me some business ideas on NT-proBNP. Right? There's loads of research ideas and loads of interesting business ideas. So again, what you've done is we've taken a topic, this pro-BNP, levels of 300, and we looked at it from different angles. And while doing it, you change the learning into an exciting adventure. The focus comes effortlessly. If there's one thing that's going to change your focus straight away, is this magic potion of motivation, attitude, and having the GAMT DL framework. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.